So let's start. I'll kick off. I have my notes with me, just in case I forget anything. And I'll give you a quick introduction about myself. So I'm the Chief Sales and Partnership Officer in One Office. It's an international company. It started off in Estonia, but we also have branches now in Latvia, Lithuania, Sweden, Finland, UK, and Ireland. And in all of those countries, we offer incorporation services, legal services, tax registrations, and of course, accounting. And if it comes to taxes and things like that, so we help to file those. Now, obviously, we know what we are strong in, but it's also important to know where we lack expertise. And that's why I brought in Jutta today, because what our customers ask a lot is how to enter the Swedish markets, how Swedes interact with foreigners, what kind of strategies should one use to be successful in the Swedish market. And Jutta definitely has experience about it and has helped many companies to enter Sweden successfully. So I think she has the most value to offer during this webinar. And Jutta, go ahead, let us know what you do and what motivated you to participate in this event.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis, and welcome to everyone. So I'm really glad to be here today and that we are so many participating. So as said, my name is Jutta Lander and I run a management consulting company which is called Expand Approach Services in Stockholm, Sweden. But I also have a company in Estonia, since I'm originally from Estonia, moved to Sweden. So we are specialized in international business, and we help companies to process of expanding in Sweden and in the Baltic countries. So the aim of the services that we provide is to identify lucrative business opportunities in Sweden in this case, and to establish valuable partnerships in the local market, which is Sweden. So yeah, the range of services covers everything from assistance with acquisition, developing business relations with suppliers or customers, to provide ongoing hands-on support during the expansion process. So basically, it's quite a wide range of services that we provide and support to companies.
Good. And actually how we met Jutta is that we were in one of the events in Sweden where Estonian companies wanted to gather customers basically and contacts. So that's where we found each other, and then we've been a couple of those kind of events together and figured that let's be proactive and bring our expertise to you independently outside of those public events. And that's what we're doing. You can see I'm switching the screens, I'm trying to figure out what's the best optimal way, because it's the first time I'm using Teams for such an event. Actually, the last event that we had, the webinar, I think it was during pandemic, and after that it was like too much. Everybody were having an event and a webinar, but now it's been 2 years and we can, I think, go back to webinars at least once per year, maybe. Now, I'm gonna leave here this screen, but here you have Q&A. You can already create posts and start asking questions. I'll also check the chat, but I think it's harder to follow, so try to use this Q&A section if you have questions. And then at the very end, we'll come back to those questions, and if something is unanswered, you can ask again, and then we'll try to get the answers out. We have booked 1 hour for this meeting or for this event, so let's start. So introduction is done, but let's introduce you to the Swedish market as well. And here again, I'll give you the word to Jutta, because Jutta knows more about the market stages in Sweden, where we are at the moment, and what it means to you as a business if you want to enter it. So go ahead, Jutta.
Yeah, thank you once again. So, yeah, as we know, Sweden is a great export market and has a huge potential, and you can do many good, or you have many good business opportunities here. But at the same time, you face a lot of competition as well. And it's because of that Sweden is a mature market, which, basically, which means that you have a lot of competition. There is a price war, and also, you have to have how to say some unique offer for the customers. And why it's so? Most of customers are familiar, or companies are familiar with most of the products or services that are provided on the market. So that makes this market mature. So and therefore, the price sensitivity is one of the things that matters quite a lot. Well, what I want to pinpoint, yeah.
Jutta, I know you want to already get to the next slide where we actually tackle like the strategies then related to the mature market and what could be the edge when you enter this market. But just briefly, like what's going on at the moment. You can interpret these statistics yourselves, but the unemployment at the moment is 9.2%. It's quite high compared to some other countries in Europe, even to Estonia. I know in Estonia it's 7% that it's considered high. Then the GDP quarter over quarter is it's in the negative, so it's stagnating at the moment. So that's not a good indicator. Although unemployment could be a good indicator if you're looking for an employee there. Then inflation 4.1% could be considered moderate, but if you've had many years high inflation and you still add 4.1% per year, then that could be hurt. That could hurt. Then there's like two indicators, basically service purchase manager index, which means like how confident are the purchase managers in service companies, and it's based on 600 companies from Sweden that then basically they fill in a survey, and then statistically it's going to cover the whole nation. But if the index is below 50, then there's less confidence, so they are not that confident for the future and they might not be ready to buy a service. But now if it's over 50, which is the case with the manufacturing purchase manager index, then this indicates that they are actually positively they have positive feelings about the future, and they are ready to make the purchases to get their business to the next level, basically in the next year or quarter or whatever their time frame is. So that's the situation at the moment on the market. Now, regarding the market itself, Sweden tends to be in this Western European, more modern, maybe also liberal, however you want to define, like a social field. So there are certain social trends that tend to give an edge to a company that if they kind of label themselves like this, because Swedes they take these kind of things seriously, and they try to align themselves in the lines that it's their businesses are socially responsible, environmentally responsible, and so on. So if you have something that facilitates that, then this could be your key to the market as well. But just about these three-letter words that we have here, ESG is environment, social governance. I think it's the most common one, the most known. It's also happening in the United States, United Kingdom, and other countries. So basically, your environmentally, socially, and your governance style is inclusive and just responsible. Then I will go to CSR, which is corporate social responsibility. Again, corporations on with their products and with hiring styles, everything, they try to be as responsible as possible. Do not pollute the earth, and just to be inclusive. And then there's also this EPD, which is actually separate, independently verified document that provides, provides transparent and comparable information about the environmental impact of products and services. So this is a declaration that actually, or a report that we can actually draft for a customer if they want this, just to show that your services or products are environmentally transparent and just understandable, like where your products come from, how are they manufactured, what's the process, and is it environmentally sustainable. So Jutta, maybe you would just add, like how seriously Swedes take this. I've only heard rumors. Maybe you know more.
I think EDD declaration will be a huge thing in the future. Because especially in construction industry, because it's referred to that industry in specific. So when we come out in a recession time and construction industry starts to grow again, so I think you have plenty of time to look into it. What does it mean more precisely? But ECG, definitely this is something, but I think it's not that crucial at this point. So definitely EDG.
I have the same feeling, just based on the requests we get from potential customers and our own customers, that this EPD is something that they request us to perform on their behalf, and this usually comes down from some other corporation that they subcontract for, and we also cater to a lot of construction companies, so that seems to be the place or the source where this kind of need comes from. All right, now another slide. Okay, this is now we get into the core of Jutta's expertise. And here I can only comment what one or other ways of entering the market means legally and accounting wise. So again, I think Jutta, you can go into these 4 different strategies, and then at the end maybe I'll just add a couple of notes from my end how this could affect the legal and accounting obligations.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, well, what I usually say to my clients who reach out to me when they are planning to enter Swedish market, so I usually say that you have to think of as a new starting a new company. So basically, you need a new business plan for every market that you're entering, and of course it applies as well in this case. And when we look at all these market entry strategies, so I'm highlighting here 4 of them, which I find most interesting in Sweden and probably most common as well. Now the slides are, okay, good.
Sorry.
So it's okay. So the different stages. So exporting is quite common among manufacturing companies, for example, that I'm working mainly. So there are different ways. It's a direct export or indirect exporting. So direct export means that you sell directly your products or services to consumers or to companies in Sweden. But indirect, you are collaborating third party in in Sweden, for example. So and it can be retailer, wholesaler, agents, and so on, who sells your products in the local market. So when we look at the, why exporting directly is quite common in Sweden. It's because of usually you get your first contacts by visiting different exhibitions or participating in exhibitions or other business events. That's the easiest way, sort of, how to create first contacts and also get the knowledge of a market. But this is not. This requires a lot of time and also, how to say, sometimes it's not like real. The companies haven't really chosen that strategy in these terms that I'm approaching right now, that you should have a market entry strategy. So yeah, but this is quite common and also applies in Sweden. I don't know, Dennis, do you have anything to add to exporting?
Yeah,
when it comes to legal and
with exporting, it's the easiest, especially if you're from Europe. If you're outside Europe, there are some things you should look into, specifically like customs declarations, which we can kind of guide and direct you to. But on average, if everything happens in your home country, you manufacture everything there and you just send the finished goods to the end consumer, and the end consumer is another business, which is the most typical way exporting happens, because you rarely export big quantities to like a private person. You could, but you rather do it. So we are usually talking B2B here. Then you don't have anything to be afraid regarding from the legal side and taxes side, because again, everything is done in your home country, so it falls under the jurisdiction of your home country. The thing could change if your finished products also need to be installed, or maybe you have to send a couple of guys to measure some things to get those measurements, basically, whatever it is. So but the idea is, if somebody goes there from your team, let's say from Germany or Lithuania, and then you have to see like how long will they stay there during calendar year, and from there on it could be a place where you have certain obligations. You need to have a certain tax registration in Sweden. For example, if your employee stays there 2 weeks in a row or 45 days in a business year, then most likely you have to pay that employee's income tax into Sweden. And this is where one office steps in, but that could be like an outlier, and that's not usually the exporting case. So that's the comment from my end.
Okay, yes. Well, if we are looking the joint venture, in my opinion, this is one of the best ways entering to a new market. And why it's so? You get a huge advantage in the local market, because you have a knowledge, you have a language skills in a company. You have also established distribution channels or sales channels. So I think this, in my opinion, this is a great way of expanding to a new market, and especially in Sweden. And this is also quite common to find these kind of collaborations where you find a company. Yeah.
If just a question here, I was thinking that, but how difficult it is to find somebody to do this joint venture fit with, and how you would go about finding that person or finding that business.
Yeah, of course. This is quite tricky. It's definitely time consuming. There are companies who are doing it. So I have some partners in Sweden who could help with that. So it's almost like merge and acquisition, basically. You have the same kind of approach. In one case, you you are the part of one existing company, but merge and acquisition, you buy an existing company. So, but there are really good, I mean, I have a good, how to say, partners who could help you as a company in Sweden. So, but of course, this kind of action or market entry strategy requires that you have a good knowledge of market, and you have to have done a pre-work, so you have to be sure, because it requires investment in time and also other resources like finances.
But so, I understand that this approach means basically visiting your potential partner in Sweden, having multiple meetings, going maybe to a few events together to see how you match, and of course kind of building a relationship. So it is a long-term play, but in a sense it's more efficient in long term because you will get those benefits of distribution channels, sales channels, local language knowledge, and so on, and you could be one of those subcontractors or collaborating joint venture, like actual partner in that company.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So this is the greatest value that you can get directly. But yeah, but of course, I mean, I have a huge network of companies as well, you know, so it's not only my partners that can help you as a company, but also I can help you and target different companies that can be a great match for you. But definitely, yeah, this is a great option.
And just adding that with joint venture, basically you're hopping into a boat that's already working and rowing. But with mergers and acquisitions, basically you're buying a company that's going out of business, or they're for some reason the owner wants to sell. Maybe it's going well, but they're just had enough. They don't want to have this company anymore, want to retire, whatever. And if you're so lucky and find that kind of company, then you can merge and acquire that. And that could also give you the same benefits as the joint venture. But again, the difficult part is finding that company that is available for acquiring. Now, the subsidiary, I'll start that we have these kind of companies. That's the most common request we get. Hey, I want to establish a company in Sweden. And sure, we can do that, but this is the core reason that Jutta is here today. That we then established that company, and in 6 months, I'm asking like, how's it going? Have you found customers? Hey, things are not going as planned. We have hard time finding the client. Maybe something else is not working, whatever. And then there's this entity that we created for the customer, and they really are not using it, but there's still like certain obligations you have to meet. So it's burning your money. So Jutta, you're thinking about this option.
Yeah, this is the last option I would choose as a company. And if I'm as a small and middle-sized company, so if you're, for example, Tesla, of course, this is the right way of entering to a new market. But I mean, there are very few Tesla-sized companies with a new innovation. So this is something that I really could, how to say, could consider if this is the right strategy. So because it's really, really costly to start your own company. So you have to hire people. You have to sort of market your product. So you have to have a huge resources to do that. But some cases, then Denise, you mentioned when we spoke about the exporting, some cases it's necessary. For example, if you are a staffing company, or if you have, how to say, the products that you provide requires installing something in Sweden, and this is some kind of speciality that no one in Sweden can do, then of course you have to do it because that's attorney, they require that.
Sure.
But this is the only case I would choose the subsidiary in Sweden.
I'd also say that maybe I gave a wrong indication. Like, of course, there are companies who in 6 months say that they haven't used it or they're having hard time finding clients. But there are, like, what's very common scenario is that there is already an exporting business, and then at some point they want to expand that exporting to have more local presence. In that case, you already have those contacts. You probably already have clients. You just now will start invoicing and servicing the customers via the Swedish company instead of your home country's company, and that might open you up to new customers on the market because the local entity in Sweden still is more trustworthy. And when it comes to like actually finalizing these things from the legal and accounting perspective, as I mentioned, exporting usually doesn't require for you to do any reporting or anything like that. But with joint ventures and mergers and acquisitions, basically what you need to do is you have to buy the shares of those companies. Usually you have in that company, if it's something you collaborate, you have this joint venture, they probably will have a legal team who will set you up and do that thing. If not, again, one office provides this. But with subsidiary, that's exactly the place where we step in and help the customer. And it's very important that you also have those tax registrations like VAT numbers and employer registrations, so you could actually hire locals, you could actually charge the VAT and do all of the necessary things that a company needs to do to be legal and pay its taxes. Now, next slide is about the product strategies, and this, I have a note, this is all Jutta's case. I have nothing to add here.
Okay. I told Dennis that I really want to just, highlight importance of product or service strategy because it's really important to understand how to sell your products or services in Sweden. And since I mentioned earlier that Sweden is a mature market, and these four strategies that I'm visualizing in this presentation, these are most common, I would say, strategies that you can use on a mature market. So you either choose pricing strategies, which mean that the only benefit or buying your product sort of is the very good or low price, which I recommend if you have a sort of if you sell quantity and it's like a mass product. For example, just to give you the latest sort of launching of company in Sweden is a Normal. So hopefully many of you know the company, but it's a Danish chain store that sells personal care. I mean, cosmetics, cleaning products, and so on. So this is a good example how to enter and choose a strategy, which is a pricing strategy. So when it comes to customization in differentiation, I think this is sort of preferable in Sweden. I mean, I would look closer to these product or service strategies because, I mean, when you choose customization, so you can tailor product and services, I mean, to meet the specific needs and preferences of the local market. So you really have to know your target customers and their needs and their behavior. So this is a really good way of choosing a strategy because in mature market, you have to sort of listen your sort of target customer, what are their needs in order to be successful selling your products. But also differentiation. I mean, this is I mean, the goal is to make the product stand out in the market, and you have to sort of provide some extra value that your competitors don't offer. So this is also quite typical strategy that you can choose, but it's also really good strategy in that terms that you still can have high sort of, I mean, you can have premium price, so you don't have to sell your products for a lower price. So if your product allows this kind of strategy, I would choose that. And of course, quality. In Sweden, Sweden is known that for quality. So, and this is also something that the customers are expecting. And if you have sort of services that you can focus on quality, or you have a great quality control system or certifications or whatever that focus on quality, and you can prove it, and you can sort of use this as a strategy, then I definitely choose that. But it depends on what kind of product.
I was thinking now, we didn't discuss this earlier, but how important is getting this kind of like customer stories and reviews about your product or service out there in Sweden? Is it something that is they read the Google reviews or Trustpilot or whatever the review location might be? Is it something one way to get out the information to a potential customer that you do have quality, you do have this customization, or maybe you have the cost advantage, whatever it might be?
Yeah, well, this is quite crucial, to be honest. Maybe you don't really think about it, but for example, you know, if you are planning to buy something, the first thing, if you have found the companies that are sort of that meets your sort of requirements and needs, the next step is to price, and the third thing is how well do they deliver? How is the service level? And here it comes the question that you asked about
for us also, we kind of are, since we started from Estonia, although we have a team in Sweden and Finland and other locations, we still consider ourselves as a foreign company, so we are also kind of exporting a service there, and it really is hard for to prove to a local that we're trustworthy. So these reviews have been helpful, and then that's one way that we ourselves in one office have approached this problem. But all right, let's move forward, and there's just, I think 1 minute on this slide is enough. Yeah, you should do your SWOT analysis just to see what's your strength. If you enter into if you take the Swedish market, what's your strength, what's your possible weakness, your opportunities and threats. You could take a screenshot now, or you can see the video later on. We've done like an example SWOT for you, and I think it applies to most of you. If you're not locally living in Sweden and you don't have any presence there at the moment, then work on your weaknesses, emphasize your strengths, see what are the opportunities, and of course minimize the threats. So that's my recommendation. I don't know, Jutta, you want to add something?
SWOT analyze is the best framework or tool that you can use, and it's necessary. I mean, as I mentioned, entering the new market, so you have to start to write a new business plan for that specific market. And the business plan includes SWOT analyze to understand your strengths, weaknesses, and then, then this kind of tool helps you to sort of come up, or help you to choose the product service strategies that I spoke previously. And also including, after SWOT analyze, it's really important to do comparative analyze, because then you understand how your competitors are approaching your target group, and what kind of what is your strength. So this is really good to understand, and be critical, to yourself, to understand how to manage better and be successful in a new market, and in this case in Sweden.
By the way, sorry, Hilda, I just started now, but actually this is, if you do these things, the product strategy, the SWOT, and overall strategy, how to enter the market, if you ever need a local bank account or a loan from somebody, then these are essential things that you would need to show, or at least it's one component of you being prepared for getting that bank account or getting that loan. So we do have a lot of companies struggling with getting a local bank account due to EU regulations, because if you're a foreigner running the company from a foreign country, then they don't want to give you bank accounts, not in Sweden, not in Finland, not in anywhere. But we have successful examples as well, where people really have done their due diligence, and SWOT would be one of that.
Yeah, definitely. So for example, if you want to take a loan in your domestic market as well, so you have to have a business plan. Your bank will require that, and this is exactly the same thing. Yes.
Let's move on. Time is flying. I want to leave room for questions as well. So this is again more Juta's slide. But the idea here is that there are certain channels you could use to sell, direct channels where you kind of do your advertisements and selling yourself, you promote your company yourself. Then there's a retail channel, which is also kind of you doing things on your own, meaning that you have a retail store, you get your goods into that retail store in Sweden, and then just customers come in and buy something. But the most common ones, I think, are the wholesale channels and the agent channels, where we talked about the distributors and retailers, where you ship something or export something to the market, and then the distributor takes care of the rest. And with the agent channel, you maybe have, like, there's also distributor and retailer component into the agent channel, because the agent could find you a distributor or a retailer, but the agent could also broker the deal himself, meaning that he kind of buys the goods and gets the commission and sells it to the final consumer, whatever might be the case. So here, Jutta, what kind of like selling and marketing strategies your customers have used the most?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, so exporting is one of the most common strategies in Sweden. And in this case, it can be retailer, but it can be even wholesaler, as wholesale sort of third-part collaboration. I mean, the difference between wholesaler and retailers is who you selling to. In a retail model, you sell directly to your consumer, as you see also in this slide. But in a wholesale model, you sell products to other businesses, so retailers or resellers. So, which means that, I mean, for example, if you have a product, for example, in clothing, and you want to enter to Swedish market, then you can easily sell them through, for example, Zalando. I guess we all know Zalando or Boost, or so you can easily use them as a retailer to sell to consumers, or Amazon, for example, as well is a good example, which works as well in Sweden. But when it comes to wholesales as a sales channel, so here, this is also quite common, but here is more. I mean, you sell to someone and they will sell to the end customers. It's quite many industrial, for example, industrial. Products or other products, that someone else sells to sort of to companies or business clients. I could say these are quite common cases in my case when I have worked with different companies.
Jutta, do I understand also that you do try to find those distributors for the customers and the exporters that you work with, or?
Yeah, of course. This is what I do all the time. So yeah, definitely I do. So I mean, partly we with my customers we choose the right strategy, and then also I help them to find these channels. Definitely, this is one of the support that I provide. So and and also approach and I mean how to approach, for example, retailers and wholesalers, because it's still, you know, even if you find a wholesaler, you still have to sort of have a good offer that they want to listen to you. So it's not like, oh, okay, I will find a couple of wholesalers and they will sell my products. So it requires still an investment in relations and other things. So yes, but of course, I mean, this is something I do daily basis, and I can easily help you as a company to find these channels.
I'll add a couple of notes because we have to move forward just to get into the time frame about the agent channel. Agent channel, I think the most efficient way there is the broker / agent thing, where you actually use some kind of platform. Like a broker could be a broker platform, and in Sweden there are a couple that I've heard of, Klaravik and some others, where you could participate in tenders. There are like government tenders, and then companies finding like a tender, finding a company who's making the best offer. So there is a possibility to look into some broker platforms where you could find potential customers that way. Otherwise, yeah, the agent also does for you finding this distributor or retailer, and that they finalize it with the end consumer. And what I wanted to add also is that definitely with direct channels and retail channels, you definitely need to have like a legalization, legal entity in Sweden, and proper registrations in some form or another, because you are the person servicing or selling to the end consumer. With wholesale or agent channel, there could be a way to do it without having a local presence, local legalization. So in that sense, there's like two components that give you an edge, is that you don't have to tackle with the local laws and rules and accounting and whatever, but you also get this, you get to them easily, those wholesale channels and do agent channels, instead of like establishing a full direct channel, paying for Google ads and so on.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to add, I mean, here, when it comes to using agents in the local market, I mean, agents can be a really good support. I mean, sales support in Sweden, for example. They can help you. I mean, quite many agents, they have a huge network, and they use their own network to sell different products. And this can be like a complementary to exporting strategy that where you're using your own sales department, collaborating with local agents. So this is quite good combo as well.
All right, thank you, Jutta. Now, this slide has been dedicated to me. I do hope that some people are interested in taxes. Of course, we cannot take that taxes apply to everybody in uniform. It's usually case-by-case thing. So definitely, if there is like a specific case you want to go over, then let me know and we'll do that. But otherwise, just a standard overview of what's going on the market. The VAT tax, 25% on your services or goods. But there's a threshold, meaning that if you sell less than 80,000 Swedish crowns, then you don't have to do it. So for tiny e-commerce businesses and so on, your edge on the market could actually be that you sell so little that you don't have to apply for a VAT number, which means that on average you could charge your customer less 25% less than some others. But obviously 80,000 Swedish crowns, it could be something that really quickly gets, you go over the limit and you are forced to register the VAT number. Then there are reduced rates for certain goods. I've listed them here. Not going to go into detail. And some services are with 0 VAT percentage. So 25% VAT tax is actually quite high. But considering that there are exemptions, then some services and goods are with lower VAT tax. Now, corporate income tax, 20.6%, you pay that no matter what, even if you had €1 or 1 SEK profit. So you have to pay that. But actually, if you compare to the Europe overall, it's not that high. It's quite a low corporate income tax. Now, where this gets mixed up, it's now getting more complicated, but just to let you know that, yes, you pay the profit tax, but the corporate income tax, but when you take the money out for yourself as a shareholder, you also have to pay a dividend tax. It really depends, like what's the percentage you're going to be charged on that dividend payout. It's going to be 20% or 30%, and it's based on a 3 to 12 rule, which actually changes every year. So there's, again, like a threshold. Let's say your dividend payout was 10,000 euros, then you pay 20% dividend tax. But if it was 30,000 euros, then you pay 30% income tax. So, but that changes every year, so you cannot really know upfront. And since you're running the business from outside from Sweden, you're not locally there. Most likely, at least this is who we are doing this webinar for. Then you have to check if you have, if your country and Sweden has a double tax treaty or tax treaty. Out of that, you get a lot of insights what kind of taxes apply to you. And if your country doesn't have a tax treaty with Sweden, then the dividend tax definitely is 30%. Then a lot of the customers ask also about fringe benefits to the employees. I don't know if you want to lease a car to the customer, your employee, or pay their rent or whatever, like an extra benefit or a perk, so they would work for you. Then this is taxed as salaries. So basically, you could just pay them extra salary, and that would cover their rent or car or whatever you wanted it to cover. And contribution to the pension fund, that's included in the social security tax, and the social security tax 31.42%. For young and elderly, it's 10%, 10.21%. And then it's not really related to taxes, but it's it's related to taxes, but there's no percentage behind there. So there are certain industries and certain things at some point that you have to do related to your employees to be able to pay those taxes into Sweden. So if you're a construction company and you need to go to a construction site, you need to have this ID06 card to enter the gate. To get that card, I mean, anybody could apply, and you could apply for a 25-day card, but you could you can only use those 25-day cards up to 3 times per year, so maximum 75 days. If your project in Sweden lasts 6 months, then you need a card that lasts longer. In order to get a card that lasts longer, you need to have this A-tax or SINK decision for your employee, if this employee is not a local in Finland, and that allows you to pay their personal income tax into Sweden. So the social security tax you still pay in Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, wherever, but the income tax of that employee you pay to Sweden, and that allows to have that extended ID06 card. So these two are related. And then there's this F tax, which is like the minimum registration you have, but it means that once per year you have to report your activities. In Finland, it doesn't have any monthly obligations or anything to do monthly reporting, but once per year you do have to report, and from there the tax office will see if you created a permanent establishment, which would mean that you would have to also pay the corporate income tax of 20.6%. And then there's some other taxes and things that I will not go into detail, but just wanted to highlight that there are some declarations and things that you would need to consider depending on your service. Jutta, I don't know if you want to add something. It was all me, I think.
Yeah, I think you covered everything. So yes, I don't have anything to add, to be honest.
So
Yeah.
Jutta, just let people know how exactly you can help them. I think I've already embedded my services and things into the conversation, but yours need to be covered as well.
Yeah, the best thing is that to say that, yeah, I can help you, like I can support you in the Swedish market. I mean, if you need any new, new partner, for example, suppliers, retailers, wholesalers, or agents, so I'm helpful. I'm here to help you with that. Also establish sale units and also find new customers. So we can look at your specific product or services and your company and how we can establish or enter to this market the best way. So I can really be a support in different stages that I have mentioned today in this presentation. So exhibition is one thing that is quite huge for exporting companies. So we can even map all the interesting exhibitions for your company in the future. So you can take the first exporting steps to get a better understanding of the market and also establish the new contacts. So yeah, I mean, there are many services that I can provide, as mentioned.
I think one of your key advantages is also that most of the listeners probably don't know how to speak Swedish. And if you go with Jutta to somewhere, she's your interpreter. But also she will take the necessary steps to get to know your product, your service, and can explain well to the potential partner in Sweden, like what do you want to do, and kind of seal the deal or try to get the deal sealed. Because that's very important. I've seen you with many companies in different exhibitions. So just to be part of that process where you go into Sweden and you have somebody next to you who can maybe connect with the local Swede a bit better and give you that edge.
Yeah. Definitely, this is a huge advantage. Since I speak fluent Swedish and also I know the business culture, it's a huge difference, which is also a great value for my clients, for example, in the Baltics, how to communicate with the Swedish companies. So yes, definitely. I usually say that I can be your country manager. I can be part of your sales team. I can be part of your purchasing team and also development. So yeah, but we have to look into your company to find the right services. Yes.
Now, I'll just add from my end that we take care of the back office. We try to be the invisible force behind your company and making sure that it's running efficiently in a sense that all your obligations are met. You are notified when something is due. You have the necessary, you have a local address, you have a contact person, because in Sweden actually you cannot open a company as a foreigner if you don't have anybody Swedish to put into the management board. To solve that problem, we provide a contact person service, and then of course like accounting things like that, tax advice, like just to let you know that hey, these are 3 different ways to kind of legalize your business, and these are the taxes related with those ways. Which one you want to choose? So you have also this kind of expertise from our end, and I did together with Jutta. It matches very well that you work with Jutta. You find maybe those first customers, and then you come to one office, and then we based on the deal that you made with that first customer or a wholesaler or distributor with whomever, we will look at the situation and let you know, does it need legalization, first thing, and then if it does need, we can go over like what kind of options you have, and then out of that, what kind of obligations you have. So this is also like a very key thing in your cost calculation, like how much does it cost to maintain and manage this business in a long-term perspective. Yeah. And then you can tell Jutta that we have to increase the prices.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's not that bad actually. It's I think it's okay. We kind of try to standardize the situation to fit most of the needs that you have, and I think it's quite reasonable. But if you want to have a deeper conversation and you have a specific business idea, then of course go ahead, contact me or Jutta, depending where you want to start. And then we'll go get into that. So I wanted to also promote what kind of companies we have catered, different ones. I think most impressive one is the Gothenburg Tower building, because a construction company established by us, and then they built that big building in Gothenburg. For us, it's really it was really proud moment in the sense that wow, something so big is done by our customer. But of course, Bolt was our client, not anymore because they grow so big. But in many countries, they used our service to get an employee from Sweden, from Finland, and then we did those payroll related calculations and so on. And now really it's the questions time. I saw that one person asked about the is this recorded? It's recorded. It's actually recorded twice. Teams is recording it, and I have QuickTime recording it. So hopefully one or both of them do work, and we'll send the recording out. If you have, let's see, unanswered questions here. Yes, we have some questions. Where do we start? 44 minutes ago. Slides, I'll share them as well. Where we might find a comprehensive list of companies currently searching for workers in Sweden. As a recruitment agency specializing in matching skilled workers and suitable employers, this information would greatly assist us identifying potential opportunities and clients. Jutta, do you know, is there a place where companies mostly find those employees from? I think a lot of what I've seen this kind of recruitment agencies do, they put direct advertisements where they put the keywords like deal or some other like Meet Frank or some other these kind of organizations, and then they rank higher in Google and maybe some client clicks. But is there some platform that they could potentially contact
where to add your I didn't really catch the question.
So they are looking to match skilled workers with suitable employers in Sweden. So they want to get skilled workers into Sweden, and like what channel to use for it, like where to find those employers.
Yes. Well, this is a long-term sales work that you have to do. So usually, I mean, I have worked with this kind of services previously, and where I usually find these lists. I mean, you can use LinkedIn, you can use Blocket Job, you can see different companies that are advertising. Different job opportunities. This is one way to go. These channels are for free, because otherwise there is no greater way to match your workers with Swedish employees. So it's a long-term sales work that you have to do.
Yes, it seems to me as well that if there would be a place you would be able to contact to get, then somebody is already doing, like this mature market thing. But maybe a helpful tip, contacting what's the office called who works like unemployment office or like employee related ministry?
Oh, you mean
Yes,
Arbetsförmedlingen?
you could
Yeah.
contact them to see if they have something. Sometimes they have maybe some grants or programs, or you could pitch a program to them that hey, like these are the skilled employees I'm offering into the market, and maybe they could do some collaboration with you. That's one of the ways. So try to open different doors, just random doors, even not government, local municipalities, Stockholm, Göteborg, Malmo. They have usually their own like business, how's it called, department. So they might
Yeah.
also be interested in working with you if you have something good to offer. So usually like the
Yeah.
government or local municipality kind of situations or contacts, especially if you go up in the north where you have less
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
and you have a higher demand for skilled people.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
you have what you have there. You have these battery companies manufacturing to BMW and to Tesla and other very high level industries that don't actually have employees up in the north. So that's the way to go as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, and one thing that I would recommend, I mean, to visit Sweden during, I mean, there are several exhibitions, recruitment exhibition, where huge companies that probably you are seeking for collaboration, they are participating these exhibitions. And yeah, it's a great way to go there and talk with them, because then you come exactly in contact with the right person as well, and you discuss the challenges. So definitely, this is one great way to do that.
So what I've done also, like in many events where I went, I was actually like, of course, it would be nice to go to an event and find somebody who wants to give you money for my services or whatever. But the other very good beneficial thing from these exhibitions and on-site events is that you might find somebody who is interested in working together with you for their interest as well. And for example, I often tend to find that let's say Switzerland government agency responsible of exporting Swiss goods to Sweden or Norway, whatever. If I speak with them, they are interested in hearing me out, kind of like that kind of situation.
Yeah. Well, yes, but yeah.
I'll go to next question because this is a good question. How long does it take to open a bank account for a new company in Sweden as a non-resident? It could take a couple of days to a couple of months, depends. But overall, the background is that with our solution or with any solution, basically, you don't need to have a local bank account. The local bank account is needed if you open a company from scratch. So you start the incorporation, and then during that process you have to pay in your share capital, and from the bank you have to get the capital registration certificate, the document, and you need a bank account, local bank account, only for that reason. Like it's an obligational thing. But if you go with a ready-made company solution, what we offer specifically is that we already paid in that capital and we register it. So when you come in, then we just change the owners, the board members, the company name, the activity code, things like that. So that's one way to avoid getting the bank account. But of course, the question might be that you still want that bank account. Then, depending on your location, if Sweden has big banks that are internationally represented, if you have a bank account in one of those international banks, let's say Swedbank or SEB, then talk to your local account handler in your home country, especially if you're from the Baltics. Then you could get an account from that channel, or at least get your leg between the door. Overall, you do need a lot of proof that you have a real business, potential contracts with potential customers and so on. So it's a hassle to get a bank account, local bank account, especially in the beginning. Right, Jutta?
Yeah, it is. So yeah, oh my God, it's like a headache. So, but yeah, Dennis, you yeah.
So most of our customers, at least in the beginning, they use some sort of bank account from their home country, or they use online option, Revolut, Wise, N26. They are all legal and okay to use. The only question I always let customer ask from themselves is that, okay, if I issue an invoice to potential customer and they see that invoice and then there's that IBAN code, my company name and IBAN code, and it's a Lithuanian IBAN code instead of Swedish IBAN code, will that cause some kind of problem, or will it stop the transaction for one reason or another? Two more questions and then we'll finish. We're all over time. There is a question about Estonian manufactured food products in Sweden. What are the regulations related to that? I cannot answer this question straight, but what I can say is that you have to be worried about the regulations if you are selling them to the end consumer. If you again are exporting, then you don't need that high level of actual like control of that goods. That's the job of the retailer or distributor. That's again one reason why to go as a wholesale or distributor channel. Overall, we can look into it. We don't know this by heart. We rarely do. What we usually do is if a customer comes in with this kind of request, we check the available resources. If needed, we call the office who's responsible of food-related regulations, and then we will conduct a consultation based on the information we got. And yeah, same about the Asian food product, that we will try to understand how you sell those food items, or maybe they are just packaged items that you can sell as a distributor. It depends what you sell. But if you want to open a restaurant or a store where you sell those things, and restaurant has a different requirement when it comes to food processing and waste processing and everything like that. But the retailer store has a different kind of rules. So we have to understand your full situation, then we'll do our research and we'll conduct a consultation.
Yeah.
Okay, new posts. Oh God. Okay, let's try to get this done and then we'll finish. Tarmo asks that they've established a subsidiary. What is necessary to offer participate in public tenders for environmental or infrastructure buildings? Probably the information or the answer comes from the tender itself. So we've done that. Actually, if there's a tender and you want us to go through that, then we can let you know what is needed. I think you've done that as well, no?
Well, I haven't done that, but I have a person or a partner who does, who's really specialized in public tenders. So there is great help to get. So yes. Yeah.
And even then, like I personally have done, tried to get some grants or tenders, and there's like a list of things that I need to do. And even then, it's not sure how they kind of choose who wins that tender. So it's you just have to go through the work and see what's in the tender, try to match those requirements, and then fingers crossed, you know. But if you have already some tender in mind, you can go ahead and send it to us. We'll take a look.
Yeah, exactly.
Byggfakta, is this a familiar term for you, Jutta? For me, it's not.
Well, yeah, I know the platform Byggfakta. So, yeah, I mean, if you are working in, I mean, this is good for construction companies who are providing different kind of services in that industry. So definitely you get access to different projects in Sweden, the whole Sweden. So you get the contact details and the project starts, and you can easily get contact with right people in the right time. So yeah, definitely it's something to consider, and I have a contact there. So if you want to know more about the Byggfakta and the potential there, so I can easily help you. So yes.
And let's take the final question. We are way over time. People are dropping off, which is understandable. Somebody's working called David in Sweden as a B2B interior design implementation company. and they want to extend their services to import PVC windows from Hungary to Sweden. Yes, and can we help? Yes, we can help with the legalization part, and probably Jutta could also find you extended customer circles, or just a way to find like maybe added customers, just ways like how to expand the market. Since I'm hearing that you have a design and implementation company, for me it triggers a question that are you actually going there into Sweden and installing and measuring and doing all the necessary preparements to get those windows kind of manufactured? If you're doing that, then definitely we need to look into the situation like do you need legalization? If it's again just pure export, everything happens in Hungary, and you're just shipping the finished goods to Sweden, then actually you don't need to do much. We should still just in case have a conversation and see what exactly you are doing, and then I can let you know if it needs some kind of legal action as well, like legalization or tax registrations, whatever it might be. But Jutta, thank you so much. For me, I think from the listeners as well, and say your final words. I'm gonna just say hi, and Jutta, you say your final words as well.
Yeah, I would like to just add the PVC windows. Well, I have had some projects a couple of years ago in windows, and just have in mind, PVC windows are not that, how to say, demanded in Sweden. So I really recommend you to do a competitive analysis and market analysis before, taking the next step. This is my recommendation. But anyway, thank you very much for participating today. So and you can contact us anytime if you have questions and you have plans to expand to Sweden. So thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.